Oh, yeah. This is cool. Yeah.
I forgot. I know Pat got it. It's fine. You can start without.
We should probably. But everything's set.
The final. I was gonna say, it's really weird having.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting to order on May 2nd at 7:02. I have a roll call, please.
Counselor Thunderbird, here. Counselor Dufflock,
Here.
Counselor Katie McMillan, here. Counselor Wheeler, here. Counselor Dennis McMillan,
Here.
Counselor Tenight,
Here.
Mayor Sykes.
Present. Pledge allegiance, please, Nikki.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I need a motion to approve the agenda. Any changes that would like to be added to the agenda at this time?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we approve the general agenda as presented.
Thank you. Can I get a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on. Go ahead and moving on to city manager report and announcements, number 5.1. Dave, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So, our annual report from the chamber, he said he will be joining us by Zoom. He did have a family emergency come up in the last 48 hours. And so if we could, we could do 5.2, 5.3, and maybe he'll be back in time, if that's okay.
So in your packet, you have my semi-annual report that covers the quarter ending March 31st of this year. You all have heard me talk a lot about budget and dollars lately, so I'll keep it brief and answer any questions that you may have. The report starts off just with some highlight reminders of this year's budget. Last June, we started with a balanced budget of $66.8 million across all funds. In February of this year, we did adopt a supplemental budget that brought our annual budget amount to $72.1 million across all funds. There is a breakdown in the quarterly report on expenditures by type, whether it's capital outlay or personnel for you, or any of the other categories. And then you have a breakdown of general fund actuals to budget, and then citywide actuals to budget. There weren't any major surprises for us on where we're at with our revenue and expenditure. We get most of our property taxes received in November, and then they trickle in really in February and May. We have received more interest than we projected, just with interest rates going up. And then it appears that we're low on those franchise fees, but that's because the bulk of our electrical franchise fees come in April. So we actually received those this past week. Other than that, we do have our new online payment provider. So in the quarterly report, I included a little bit on Express Bill Pay as well as a QR code to get set up on that for residents, and did highlight some of the job vacancies that we have. Any questions?
So also you reported the community development semi-annual report for the same time period. To do a highlight, building and planning, both, if you're looking at those numbers, continue to be very busy. Particularly in building, we've been averaging about 20 to 25-ish homes about a quarter. So we've been keeping pace even with some of the slowdown. So far through this year, we've been seeing that pace kind of keep track. So we're hoping that those building numbers don't start to lag behind a little bit. Obviously, we continue to monitor the new home starts, particularly in the building department, where I'm particularly very happy to have Kevin Ross, our new building official, on board. He brings a lot of experience, almost 16 years of experience in the industry, a lot of that down in Nevada, and also several years here in Oregon, including time as a building official. Not having to cover a couple hours of inspections a day has been a very big relief for my schedule. Planning, Jacob, as always, is very busy. Planning Commission continues to be very busy. On average, Jacob has probably had 5 current applications that he's juggling at any one time with notices and different timings and getting things for Planning Commission. The highlight of really the last quarter would be the adoption of the TXP, hopefully tonight, with the ordinance a little bit later. But that really has been the major long-range planning effort for the last couple of quarters. I have highlighted a couple of the residential developments in there just with some new pictures. Ballard, I would expect you'll see some more work going on up there. I happen to know the crew who does all of their dirt work is down working on the Nobles RV Park, which is also in your report. So I would expect about the time they finish, they'll be moving up the hill. They still have probably 50 or so lots available on some other phases. If you haven't been up South Hill, certainly the amount of dirt that Amazon has moved is truly impressive. I know they've moved that much dirt at other locations for being able to drive by on a little bit more consistent basis. It really is impressive how much dirt they've moved up there. Already hit on the RV park. I know they have most of the utilities in, so you should start to see it looking like an RV park. Roads will start getting paved and curbs and those types of things will be going in soon. The master wayfinding plan is nearing adoption. You'll see that start to come before you for our normal approval process. I already kind of hit on the transportation system plan. We have several of our awards for our various downtown revitalization grants. We'll have a couple more of those awards for you to consider here tonight. We continue to see a lot of interest in that, but the applications have been a little slow trickling in. Also highlighted several of our more long-term projects. I think you guys have heard several updates on Project Path. I know that continue to take a lot of data and Esmeralda time, particularly from community development. The business center seems like we are getting our status has been, we are very close to having bid documents for the last couple of months, but we are getting very close to having those final construction documents. And then our last kind of Parks and Rec project that CDD has held on to was the LWCF fund for Nugent Park. We're very happy that we got that initial award, so we should get the formal award letter here shortly. We're bringing that back for your approval. That has been a very long project, and that will be kind of our last parks project. I'm hoping unless directed otherwise. But certainly happy to answer any questions you have.
It is truly impressive, what's going on up on the hill, you know, after decades of watching crop growth there, and then now seeing these just massive amounts of rock and things that were, those fields were pretty tough farming, and to see those things being converted like that is just incredible. How much actual material has been pulled out and out. It's just wow. Good stuff.
Fantastic. Dave, any update on 5.1?
Still not here. I do just have a few general announcements, real quick. So tomorrow, at least a week or two ago, sent you the notification, our Project Path Partner Stepping Stones Alliance is hosting their community partners meeting here tomorrow from 9 to noon. If you're able to break away at any time during that time, just to come in and say hello to the group, that's great. We have 18 confirmed partners that are going to be there, as well as we anticipate some other general community members. Also tomorrow, kind of in relation to that meeting, so the governor is going to be here in Umatilla, Morrow County tomorrow, meeting with Umatilla and Morrow County officials regarding nitrate issues. There's a better than 50% chance that she'll stop in on that meeting for about 15 minutes, just to kind of hear and say hello to the partnership in the group. We're one of 8 pilot programs in the state. So there's a chance that we might get something about that earlier today. But you know, it may not happen. So we just don't know. I mean, those schedules are always fluid. So I just want to make that announcement. And then next week on Monday, in the early afternoon, we have PRCI is hosting their National Corrections Employees Week. There's a celebration event out there, flag ceremony. I also sent invitation to you for that. If you're able to come, great. If not, I'll be there. I believe Chief's going to be there as well. And I think Corinne, you said you're going to probably be able to make that. So if you need any additional information on that, I have that available for you as well.
You want to save 5.1 if he shows up, or do you want to just talk about it now?
It's really their report. I'd like the chamber to be able to report on it. We can, I mean, staff is certainly prepared to present that information if you'd like, but
Knowing that he had the emergency, is there a way for us to maybe table it? I know we did that just recently, but I would love to respect that if there was a family emergency.
yeah, so if council just wants to make a quick motion to move that to our workshop, we certainly can do that.
Yeah. Can I get a motion to table this till the workshop?
I'd like to make a motion to table still the workshop.
Can I get a second to that motion?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Great, thank
Okay, we'll table that unless they show up, and then I'm fine with Johnny. That's fine.
you. Yeah, we can always
Yeah.
work our way back in.
This time, look for public comment. Chief, do you have any? Zero. Okay, moving forward. Going on to the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve the consent.
Question. If I may. On paid invoices. This is on page 64. Item 2401. City Hall generator. Just curious if that's a hardwired unit, if it's a mobile unit. And the reason I'm asking is if it's, you know, able to be moved to another location if needed, or if it's
It's not, it's permanent located, it'll be on the side of the building here. If we went to something that was mobile, the price was about 4 or 5 times that, in order to get something with that big a trailer and all the stuff that goes with it. We're actually trying to get site specific. So South Hill, you guys approved the generator last year. It took a whole year to get it. We just got that put in at the lift station. So we do have a mobile generator, and Chief has a mobile generator as well. We're not needing them more and more like we used to, and so we're going to keep them in real good repair. So in case of an emergency or something, we'll have the availability of. I mean, even good generators don't run sometimes, you know, so, but all the switching and everything will be here. The other thing that we look at is from a safety standpoint. The switching is instrumental to all of that, so that alignment doesn't end up getting hurt when if there's an outage and they go to and it gets backfed without the proper switching in there. So the mobile units are really becoming less effective, and so that's why the standalone units are kind of that.
very good. I like seeing us having the emergency backup systems in place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other questions on the agenda? Okay, can I get a motion? The consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Can I get a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Guys, have it. Thank you. Moving directly into the public hearing, do you have a script for it?
Yeah, we don't have one.
All right, at this point, we're moving on to new business, so 9.1, a proclamation for National Police Week 2023. On your side.
I have one that's cold.
Yeah.
Very cold.
Great.
Almost 80 when we got in here. Oh.
It's perfect.
All right, I found the right page. Go ahead and read this proclamation forward to recognize National Police Week 2023 and to honor the service and the sacrifice of those law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty while protecting our communities and safeguarding our democracy. Whereas there are more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Umatilla Police Department. Whereas since the first recorded death in 1786, there are currently 23,785 law enforcement officers in the United States that have made the ultimate sacrifice and have been killed in the line of duty. Whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C. Whereas 556 new names of the fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including 222 officers killed in 2022 and 330 that were killed in the previous year. Whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund's 35th Candlelight Vigil on the evening of May 13th, 2023. Whereas the Candlelight Vigil is a part of the National Police Week, which is to be observed this year from May 14th to May 20th. Whereas May 15th is designated as a Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families and the U.S. flags to be flown half-mast. Now, therefore, it will be resolved that the city of Umatilla and the Umatilla Police Department will observe May 14th through May 20th as National Police Week, and publicly salute the service of law enforcement officers in our community and the communities across the nation. Thank you. Do I have a vote for this, or are we just signing that?
Just proclamation for mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. Moving on to 9.2, resolution 36, 2020, or sorry, 39, 2023, a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a sublease agreement with the United Grain Development for a firearm shooting range. Any questions about agenda item 9.2 at this time? I guess I had one real quick. Is this for just the one for the police department, or is this gonna be the one for everybody as a whole being built in the future?
Yeah, so this is just our police department and our public safety partners.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
I have a couple of questions. Have we done any, kind of basic research, so they go above where the homes are at, pop a few rounds and see just how much the report ends up being up there where the houses are at, to anticipate someone being upset with noise?
I mean, I'll start with you guys kind
I
of,
can address that.
yeah.
So we were down at the range last night and fired off the rounds. I went up on the hill and I couldn't hear them.
Great.
While we were down at the range, there were people over on the Washington range and we could hear them very clearly.
Yeah.
But when our people were shooting and I looked above,
Just one. Well, and in the last, 3 weeks, the general topography, any gap has all been filled in. It's all a nice half dome down in there now. So I'm not an acoustical engineer by any means, but it's really down in the pit and kind of closed off. And I haven't heard myself, but I would be surprised if it's traveling for outside that, yeah.
We'll have pictures here in a couple of weeks, that line is quarterly report. Good picture.
Okay, thank you.
Are we gonna allow Hermiston to use it, Utah County?
We will have, agreements with partner agencies.
Part of that has to do with our liability requirements. We have to be under a contract for specifically for that range and then to use and comply with our policies and coordinate with the range officer and all these boxes have to be checked. And so, but yeah, once we've gone through that administrative process, it could be available.
So only officers? Or, I mean, is that gonna include, potentially, other folks that are then, that they're in, what's the word, security, like, security officers, things like that? So it's gonna be pretty limited. Just trying to figure out a way to get in there. Same here.
We know there's a large man in a meeting earlier today and kind of heard that same sentiment. And you saw in our now adopted budget, we recognize that the Marines had two purposes, right? This public safety measure and the recreation side. We were able to meet the public safety need now, still working on trying to find the right site for the recreational side. Stanfield gave us some good leads today, so there might be some opportunities there. Wonderful. Not in Stanfield, but lands that they recommended to us just outside the city.
Thank you.
Any other questions at the time? I get a motion to approve.
Mr. Mayor, I would approve new business item 9.2 resolution 39-2023.
Thank you. Can I get a second? Motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Ty. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, the ayes have it. Moving on to 9.3 resolution 40-2023, a resolution approving the First Amendment to the LTREZ distribution agreement for the PBX 194 project between the city of Utah and Utah County.
If I could, Mayor, so 9.3 and 9.4, they're virtually identical, but they're two different data center campuses. The languages are literally identical, and so if we just maybe talk about them both at the same time, if that's okay.
Are we able to vote on them at the same time?
Yeah, you can do a resolution to approve them both in one motion if you'd like. So what this does, just real quick, is we've gone through our process with the long-term rural enterprise zone, the LCREZ. Those were done. We did you might recall last month, we did our amendments with the county in the enterprise zone for the language, particularly for the general obligation bond language to clear up some ambiguity that was in that. That was adopted by us and the county. And now this is the distribution agreement, and that's us, the county, and Amazon. This is the distribution agreement between us and the county. And then in the distribution agreement, because we didn't have any general obligation bonds approved at the time for that contract went into place, we left the distribution of that totally moot. And so now, since November of last year, the school district approved their general obligation bond. These campuses are subject to those terms. And we've been working with them and their bond counsel, DA Davidson. They helped draft this updated language. It was we sent to our attorney, they reviewed it, have no issues with it. And so that what this will do is now it will now solidify and formalize the avenue in which those funds are to be paid by Amazon to the county and then turn right around and distributed to the school district to meet those general obligation bond obligations.
Any questions about 9.3 or 9.4 this time? Okay, I'm looking for a resolution. So I'm looking for a motion to approve resolution 40-2023 and 41-2023. So,
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 41-2023 and resolution 42-2023.
41.
Oh, 41, yeah.
40.
Okay.
40 and 40.
I scrolled down the wrong.
You're good.
Excuse me, everybody.
You're fine. Can I get a second to that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Third. Yeah, I was looking for a third or a roll call. All right, moving on to 9.5, resolution 42, 2023, a resolution to adopt project path and its 5-year plan.
Apologies for the attachment of the updated plan, what isn't in your packet. There was, only 2 changes made from the draft that you saw last time. It was on your agenda. One had to do with, advocacy in the community, which was, we added essentially a single paragraph that talked about that this isn't static, this isn't a one and done, that we'll continue to grow our partnerships and to continue to grow our advocacy efforts throughout the community. And then the other was, really some housekeeping typos, but other than that, there were no other changes to what you saw last time when we presented it to you.
I get a motion to pass 42, 2023. Already asked.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve new business item 9.5, resolution 42-2023.
I get a second to that motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Guys have
There's something in the air.
it.
That's the polar bear.
Okay, moving on to 9.6, local business grant report.
So this last quarter, we did something different. We advertised the local business grant program through social media, something we haven't done before. We just advertised it in our newsletter. I received 5 inquiries on the local business grant. 2 of them were ineligible projects, 2 were incomplete applications, and then 1 application which you have in your packet is recommended for approval. It's Columbia River Electric Maintenance. They're located down by the Public Works shop, and they're requesting a fence to put in the property so they can have the materials trucks and make it look nicer down there. This was the community development department reviewed the application and recommend council to approve for the $18,995 cost. Sorry, $14,246.
Why haven't we promoted it on social media before?
I don't know. I don't know. I just had a bright idea, and made an ad, and I asked Nancy to fly it, and we had tons of calls. A lot of people didn't want to give me any information. They just wanted to know more about it. We've had it on our website, but it was pretty successful this time.
Historically, we haven't had to advertise a lot. We've
Yeah.
had enough interest that we haven't really needed to. This has been the first year where we're gonna have money left over even with some of the advertising.
That's right. That's what I was gonna say. I mean, there's been a lot of interest, so, but
Well, wonderful work. Thank you for doing. Okay, I get a motion to approve local business grant award. Do we need to approve this one?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the grant reward. Do I have to say the amount or anything? All right, for $14,246.25. Is that right? Yeah.
Or 426 and 25 cents, sorry.
Can I get a second?
hold on, wait.
So I'd just like to point out that there's 2 different numbers.
There is 2 different numbers on there.
Let me pull up. I can pull
So
up
I
that.
did read it
We'll
right.
get it cleared up. I might have inversed it when I got it in there.
And there's a different number in their quote too from Farm City. So with Farm City,
No, they have
So-
3 different quotes.
got it, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have 3 quotes and the grant is for up to 75% of the cost.
Got it.
So yeah, 246 and 25, that's the right one.
We apologize for that.
I inversed it. I can
You're just making me look like a goofball. I do a good job on my own too.
Okay, so real quick, Nancy, what's the corrected number just for sure?
14,246.25.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. That's the first time we're gonna, can I get a second time motion?
I'll second.
All in favor? All opposed? All right, guys have it. Fantastic work. Moving on. 9.7, the downtown revitalization grant.
So the downtown revitalization grant program, I have not advertised in social media. This is more of a local, Main Street that I usually, solicit more personally because it's only eligible to the businesses that are located in our downtown district. I had 3 inquiries, from my attempts at trying to get people to apply for the program. I did have one, incomplete application. Well, 2 incomplete applications, sorry. 1 incomplete, 1 wasn't ready yet. He'll be ready next quarter. And then the other one, which is Texor LLC, which is the building where Donitas is, located. This was a complete application and, the work that they want to do is, stucco repair, painting of the exterior building, wood repair, energy efficient lighting, replacement of the exterior door. The total project cost is $38,287. The Community Development Department did review the application and recommend approval for the project the project cost maximum reimbursement of $26,500.
All right, can I get a motion to approve this?
How about, looking at the application, it looked like, Kathy Maharian was on the property, is that correct? And then is there a different Kathy then that?
Yeah, her daughter Michelle is also in Kathy.
That's Kathy Stroll, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions at this time? Council? Okay, can I get a motion to approve this agenda item? 9.7, downtown violation.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make the motion, we approve the downtown revitalization grant for 26,500.
Okay, can I get a second to the motion?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I think I have it. Moving on to 9.8, Walmart Community Grant Acceptance.
So a month or so ago, I brought you a grant for Arbor Day. As most of you know, we have 2 recreation coordinators, for both of them on the career change, the Parks Connected to. So they're both getting their feet wet in grants. So this month, we have a grant from Walmart that our recreation coordinator, Romero, we did receive that grant. It's for $1,500, and we're going to use that for recreation programs to support our summer programming. So we're just excited to bring that to you and the materials and things like that.
Awesome. Any questions about this one? Any discussion at this time? Can I get a motion to approve? Item 9.8, Walmart Community Grant Acceptance.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve new business item 9.8, Walmart Community Grant Acceptance.
Can I get a second motion, please?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you very much. Moving on to 9.9, resolution number 43-2023, a resolution for award contract for Silver Creek Contracting LLC, a contract amount of $1,786,136.06 for the construction of the CTUIR COU joint pump pipeline. This is the pointed version we still talk about, is it different? I can't remember.
It's a part of that project. This is what the contract's called, the contingency plan element of that project. Basically, this is our bridge in between our permanent infrastructure being developed and installed and our non-existing infrastructure there. So this is kind of that mid-level. So we have to have a project in between the two where we're diverting from the CTUIR existing canal into what's called Lake Tank, which is essentially just a really big pool, it's about 1 million gallons. And then from there, that raw river water that pumps to the new water treatment facility there that feeds for, in this case, for data center.
This is the one that you guys approved the intertime loan, the general fund to the water fund that you came back to each other. We may need to amend that one.
Any questions or discussion at this time? Okay, looking for a motion to approve resolution 43-2023.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we approve resolution number 43-2023.
Thank you. Can I get a second time motion?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Yeah, have it. Thank you. Okay, the first reading of ordinance. Sorry, 9.10, first reading of ordinance 868.
Ordinance number 868, an ordinance oh, I'm sorry, we need a motion for first reading.
Okay, can I get a motion for first reading, please?
Mr. Mayor, I would ask for a first reading of ordinance 868, new business item 9.10.
Can I get a second to motion?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? All right. Sorry about that, Andy, go ahead.
That was not that, sorry. Ordinance number 868, an ordinance proclaiming the annexation of tax lot 3201 on assessor's map 5N2817 CA known as 242 Tucker Avenue, Umatilla, Oregon 97882. Withdrawing said property from Umatilla County Sheriff's Law Enforcement District, accepting written application for the annexation from all the owners of the area, making findings, setting the final boundaries of the property to be annexed, and setting the comprehensive plan map and zoning designation for the annexed property as city single-family residential.
You don't approve this one, or we can go on to the next item? Okay. Moving on to 9.11, adoption of ordinance 867. Brandon, you want to add?
Certainly happy to answer any questions, but this will be the final, step in adopting the CFP.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Wow.
Maybe we'll see.
No, it won't be.
Potholes to pick people. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the adoption of ordinance 867?
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve new business item 9.11, adoption of ordinance 867.
I get a second on the motion, please.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, congratulations. Okay, moving on to public comment, anything else at this time? Anything?
Is anybody new up there?
Nope, I don't think so.
Nobody rushes it.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to discussion items. Discussion item 11.1, resolution CDD 23, and NDA with Umatilla and PTURI, discussion is only at this time.
Yeah, so happy to, so just give you a little, we'll just, you'd be able to identify draft resolutions, whether it's CDD or Public Works based on that, just so you know that that's a draft and we're bringing them for discussion purposes with new software. Very happy to present this non-disclosure agreement. This is really the culmination of a few years of work, specifically with their cultural resource protection program. This will specifically give me, in this case, or the community development director, access into their confidential or proprietary information, specifically for cultural resources. That will give us a little bit of access for citywide projects and other developments. It doesn't circumvent any of the SHPO process or any of those, but it does give us access to those records, which we have not had access to, and we don't have access to the state database. The fact that they are willing to now give us access is a first. So we're excited that they are willing to partner with us, and with the relationship is improving enough where they're willing to But I've been in those meetings, when they give you those maps, they keep track of them and they want them back and they make sure you're not taking pictures. They take that very seriously. The fact that they're willing to share that information and let us store it here is a big step.
That is a big step.
Now, this doesn't change any of the project, the transportation that we just did, right? It just gives us more insight as we're
Yes.
bringing.
No, this just gives us access into that portion of their record. So if we have a pending project, I could reach out to their staff and then likely take a trip to Pendleton and go look at their maps to know what we might potentially be dealing with.
That's big.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And typically those records are reserved for archaeologists only. You have to go to there and if you're an archaeologist, check those records out, do your work there and then give them back. You're not even allowed to, as an archaeologist, to take copies of them.
So Brandon gave a really good speech, is trying to get this about having top secret security clearance in the Air Force. And actually, I think it went a long way. I know we're saying it tongue in cheek, but I think it really it made a big difference. So, and it gives, by the way, the agreement gives them the authority to revoke the NDA at any time for any reason. And so we understand that to mean right now that it's for Brandon and his eyes only. And if that changes at any point in time, this agreement would likely change as well, or at least be reviewed.
Well, it's a non-disclosure agreement and I would suggest that we stop disclosing it.
Yeah.
I must say that, this just goes to show all the hard work that we've all been doing to keep the, try to do everything that we're doing. If we put a shovel in the ground anywhere, we have been over backwards and spent a lot of money to make sure that they're happy with everything that we do. So, that takes a total team effort from everybody to make sure that those.
Agreed.
And a discussion on that.
Yeah, so if you don't have any additional questions or comments there, this has been reviewed by attorney. We'll prepare final resolutions and contract ready for signature to bring that to your meeting, either your next meeting or your meeting.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 12. Mayor's message is short and sweet. I want to say thank you to Chief for giving me this proclamation. I appreciate it. And it saddens me to read some of those numbers, but thank you for your service and thank you to your staff for their service to our giving their lives and for our service. Thank you to the Parks and Rec for reach out to grant. That's phenomenal. It's good to see the all growing with new staff members, and that's good to see. And thanks for posting on social media, getting some fresh faces in the grant process. That's phenomenal. Good work to everyone. And thank you to all the people who are doing hard work in the background. And thank you for those who showed up tonight. We appreciate it. Look forward to having us keep coming. That's all I've got. We're gonna start with let's do backward. Go. Have a Mr. Tennant.
Well said, Mr. Mayor. It's sure nice to get some heat in the air outside for a change. Oh my goodness. I thought it was never gonna come. Now the grass is growing like crazy. Here we go. Giddy up. So anyway, I don't have much more other than that, other than I sure just love this community and this town. I've been all over the world. I don't know about all over the world, but I've been lots of places in the world. And I'm so excited to come back here and I just love it here. It's nowhere better to be in my humble community. Anyway, that's all I have.
But thanks for showing up, everybody. I really appreciate it. And again, like you said, the weather's great. I went and got a fishing license, so I hope everybody just enjoys the outdoors and the warmth out there. And thank you for all your hard work and appreciate everything you do. And Brandon, I'm not going to try to get any secret codes or any secret photos from you on documents, but anyway, thank you guys for all your hard work. I really do appreciate it. It's cool to see bridges being built between communities, so thank you.
Councilmember.
Scott, you actually just said something that's been on my mind and my heart a lot lately, so I appreciate you saying that. Really, I think people can look at Umatilla right now and see, oh, we're so lucky, there's so much happening in our area right now, but this is not happening by accident. We have the staff here that we've worked to build the relationships in City Hall. We have the council here that really advocates for the citizens here. And we are working to build those bridges. We're working to bring back that trust. And it is a testament to what is coming to fruition in Umatilla. So I love this time. I've said it probably the whole time I've been sitting up here. I'm excited to see the growth. I loved seeing the report today of community development and just what continues to come for kids as well as just all of our different generations that are here. And so I am so excited and very lucky to live here, to represent you guys and to continue to move this ball forward because we definitely have a lot of balls in the air right now. But I know you guys hear it all the time, but I am really grateful for you, all of your expertise. I know even, gosh, I don't remember how many years ago it was now, when I first got into council and we were asking the question, do we invest more in the city manager's position and making sure that we get the right person in the role? And I really feel like us making that one decision has really set a lot forward in these last few years. So I'm appreciative of everyone and all the work that we do.
Well, you can't say much after that. To piggyback on what she said, I love the favor that you guys have been having with everybody, all the new opportunities, especially the Confederated Tribes. It's a huge thing. No pressure, Brandon. You have to work here for the rest of your life now. But I love seeing the favor, the growth, everything coming together. All those years you guys have done of all the hard work. I mean, I know we say this every single time. I sound like a broken record every single time, but you guys are incredible. For the community that we have and the resources that people think we don't have, you guys have came out and accomplished it. So I'm very proud to be out in this community and be part of it. So thank you guys so much.
Councilmember DeFlower.
Well, I really don't have anything. I mean, they kind of touched the bases. So, I do appreciate what we're doing, where we're going. When you have a purposeful heart, that's exactly what it's about. It's about moving forward. You have a purpose and you have a goal in mind. You know, we do have a great community and we have, a lot of support here. And I think it's growing day by day by day. So I do appreciate it. And we're in different times than we were a number of years ago. So I think it's really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
After you start on this side, but you guys take all the good stuff. It's really in this.
Thank you very much.
Let's switch for work. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this time we are going into executive session for the purpose of considering a real property transaction in current litigation or like litigation filed in executive session held pursuant to ORS 192.6602, which authorizes the executive session to be considered a real property agreement transaction for two different situations, and ORS 192.6602 authorizes the city council to consult with its counsel concerning legal rights and duties of a public body concerning limited current litigation or like litigation filed. Meeting members must be excluded if a member is a party to the litigation. Representatives of news media, department heads, and city manager Stockdale can attend the first executive session. City manager Stockdale will be excused. Staff members from the second and third executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report any of the operations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision will be made in the executive session. At the end of the executive session, we will return to open session and welcome the audience back into the room. At this time, council members, I am looking for a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we recess to executive session. If we get a 5-minute recess.
Okay. Can I get a motion or second time motion?
I'll take that.
All in favor? All those? Awesome. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for attending tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for showing up.
Thank you. Big 5-minute recess.
Yeah.
We need some recess.
Good.